must unlearn what you have learned.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contiengecy Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and today is another Star Wars Power Half Hour. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing the Darth back on our last episode as we recapped Dark Tide 1 Onslaught. Now, we will be getting into some other things, but today it's just me riding solo. We're going to talk about some Star Wars news as well as the second issue of Star Wars Age of Resistance comic. This one is all about Captain Phasma. So we should have a nice little look through on that one. You know, you know me, I'm not a huge comic book guy, but I have been enjoying the artwork in these comics. It really is really cool. And again, little mini stories about some of our Star Wars characters here. Our next one will be out next week, I believe, and that one is going to be the quote special, which will include some a story of Holdo, Admiral Holdo, and Maz, possibly, if I'm remembering that correctly. So we've got a long ways to go, and I actually just ordered the complete set of, let me see, Age of Republic and, what was the other one? Age of Rebellion. So those had already been out, so I'm completing the set of those, and we'll talk about those on a later podcast, maybe their own, like a podcast dedicated to the series, possibly. At least that's kind of what I'm thinking. We'll get the Darth in on those too, because I know he's reading the Age of Resistance along with me. I just go down to our local comic shop and and get 2 copies. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of how the week's going. A couple of things I do want to mention. Actually, this weekend has been really, really busy for me. I was down Friday night, down to my good buddy Lane's and met up with Lane and my other good friend Ez. They have a podcast called The Unexpected Podcast, Talking Tolkien. It's one of my favorite podcasts out of there. It is a Tolkien podcast, Lord of the Rings specifically. They are doing a reread of the book series, and most currently they are in Return of the King. So we did an episode concerning the chapter Siege of Gondor, which is a great chapter. If you've ever read those books, it's a long chapter. It is a pretty in-depth chapter, and it shows some interesting characters off and in some interesting lights. Spoilers. Spoilers on an old book. But anyway, no, I love Lord of the Rings. I love a lot of different fandoms out there. But specifically, the Unexpected Podcast, Talking Tolkien, make sure to check that out. I'll be in the next episode. The episode's going to be like, I don't know, I think it's like almost 3 hours long. We talked well into the night. We had another friend of ours, Kevin, who was going to help with the next day's project. He was planning out their studio. They actually are in the process of building a studio. So the 4 of us got together and we did the framing. And it was a lot of fun. You know, I worked construction when I was younger, and it is a lot of fun getting in there and working with your hands and building something. It's a very different experience, and especially something on that scale too, because effectively we're framing like 2 separate rooms. So we had doors that we had to consider. There's also next steps, electrical, insulation, drywall, flooring, all that good stuff. So there's still a lot more, but it was really cool to see the area actually sort of framed in. We have a border now. They have a border, and it's cool. It's very cool to see, and it was very fun, although it was like it was like 90% humidity and in the 90s all day long, so it was hot. We were boiling. We were just chugging water all day long, kind of not trying to push it, but yeah, we were there all day, and it was still at the end of the day, I still had a lot of fun. Definitely slept in today though. So again, make sure to check out the Unexpected Podcast. That could be an interesting Star Trek podcast name. Anyway, make sure you check out the Unexpected Podcast, Talking Tolkien. Subscribe to them, and make sure that you check out that episode with moi in it, because it was a heck of a lot of fun for me. Okay, so enough about me. Let's talk some news. So San Diego Comic-Con's going on, and we've got a couple of things coming out around that, but let's start with Hasbro. So for those of you who are like figurine collectors, I'm really not. I have one Black Series. Let's see. Yeah, no, I only have one. I have one in the Black Series, and that's Jaina Solo. I bought it at Star Wars Celebration. I didn't even know they made Jaina. She's one of my favorite characters, period, in the Star Wars universe. She just really had an interesting story, a very unique personality. And I don't know. I read the new Jedi Order, and she was an integral part of the new Jedi Order. So when I heard that they had her figure there, and I was like, wow, point me out. Because I think... I don't know. One of our friends, I think, also bought one too. But anyway, it has her lightsaber, has her in her full flight suit and everything. So I was really happy to get that. And those Black Series are actually really cool. It's hard for me to consider like spending that amount of money on them, but I don't know, as a splurge every now and again, because Jaina was $20. And the other one I was looking for was a Qui-Gon. But the issue with Qui-Gon is there was not a Qui-Gon at that show for less than $50, and I just wasn't going to pay that for that. And I don't know. It's really cool, but it just seems like a lot of money. But anyway, back to the announcement. So it actually, let me see. Yes, it would have already dropped because it was set to drop on the 20th of July. Was a Boba Fett Black Series Boba Fett helmet. Selling for $119.99. Apparently, it's all rigged for electronics and everything. Slap it on your head, do your Boba Fett thing, which is really cool. And I've looked into actual like cosplay, and me and my good buddy Ez, who has another Star Wars podcast called Hyperspace Hangout. We've talked in the past about potentially like trying to get like maybe some sort of stormtrooper armor and do like actual troops. Because, I understand some people really think, oh man, that's some really nerdy stuff. But you should see the looks on kids' faces and the looks on, adults' faces who love the movies. And they're just, oh, it's so cool. I want to have a picture with Darth Vader or the stormtroopers or a Jedi or whatever. So we've often thought about this. Now, this helmet probably isn't, like actually approved, by some of the organizations who do the larger cosplay groups, but it is a cool piece. And for about $120, that doesn't actually sound all that bad to me. If I can fit that thing over my big head, I'd be pretty darn happy. But anyway, so that's new from Hasbro. That's already technically out right now, but a cool addition to the Black Series lineup. Next up, we have a picture / announcement. We already kind of knew this was going down, but we got a picture. So the rise of Kylo Ren. Let's see. Written by Charles Soule, S-O-U-L-E, Soule. We'll say that. This is set to drop in December. Now, they're saying before the Rise of Skywalker, or Rise of Skywalker, yeah. Rise of Skywalker. Wow. I just completely flubbed that one. But yeah, Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, before it. It is a 4-issue miniseries from Marvel. And the picture that they have here is really cool. So this is concerning, or at least this is what we're led to believe concerning the Knights of Ren, potentially why Kylo, turn dark side. At least that's what I'm hoping, and who the Knights of Ren truly are. Now, we all kind of think that the Knights of Ren are, some of the apprentices from Luke's order, quote, order that he was building up, that, Kylo was a part of. And these were like his, Kylo's like chosen friends or subordinates, I guess, more so. But they look pretty wicked. They all have their own different helmets and different weapons. Now, the only interesting thing here is that, so obviously Kylo has his lightsaber. The rest of the Knights of Ren do not. So it does sort of make you wonder if these actually were potential Force sensitives, or if they're a completely different band of, quote, thugs out there. So anyway, should be really interesting. I'm looking forward to this. They're obviously putting a lot of this information like right up against when the movie drops, because even the issues of Age of Resistance, the Kylo, the Hux, and the Snoke issue are further on down the line. So, we're going to get Poe and we're going to get familiar characters, Rey, and so forth, before we get into potentially the meat that we've been wanting to chew since The Last Jedi. So this should be really cool. I'm pretty hyped for this. Hopefully it's good. But 4-issue miniseries, and I think that could be really cool. So, and I did post the picture in the Facebook group, or in the Facebook page. We don't have a group. We just have the page right now. If you would like, make sure to like the Facebook page. And, just we post whatever in there. It's mainly the Darth. I'm not huge into social media very much, but, sometimes I'll post stuff. But I did post a picture of that particular, the rise of Kylo Ren. So, moving on here, we also had just a wee bit of information concerning the visual dictionary. So the biggest thing, it's funny, the biggest thing that they pointed out in the article I read was the TIE Dagger, a new TIE fighter. And let me see. I think I saved the picture here because I just thought it looked hokey. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So for those of you who haven't seen this, so the center section looks like a pretty typical TIE, but then its outriggers look like wood. They look like wood, and I don't get it. I just don't get it. Is that practical? I mean, it shouldn't be wood, but it looks like slats of wood, and it's brown. Encased by like a metal frame. So, what is this like? Is this like the old timey ties? Like, well, we decided to put wood aesthetic in it or something. Is it retro? Is what I mean. Is it like a retro? Like, you've got a hipster first order engineer, and he's like, well, guys, what I would really like to see is like a TIE fighter, but let's put some wood in it, give it that old school feel, and we'll shine it up and encase it in metal. It'll be super cool. It just, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Maybe you guys should let me know if I'm looking at that wrong. But it does. It just looks like a regular TIE body with two, triangular outriggers that are just they've got slats of wood. Maybe the pilot's in there with a giant hipster beard and a tweedly mustache and a glass of single malt scotch choking on it with a pipe or something. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But anyway, that was brought up in the article concerning the visual dictionary. I've never been one to buy the visual dictionaries. I think I have one from episode 1. And the only reason that is because, I was like 12 when episode 1 came out, and I collected everything from episode 1. I don't have it all anymore, but I had like they made these little tiny books. They were maybe like 3 by 3 inch books. and they had all the characters in them and mini character profiles. And it was like, hey, carry it anywhere so you know your characters right off the top of your head. But yeah, I did have a quote visual dictionary for episode 1. But after that, I never really bought into those type of things. They just sort of seemed like clutter. If I had more bookcases, maybe, but I only have one bookcase now, and it's already overflowing. So, let's see here. Let's do one last piece of news, and then we will get into the Age of Resistance Captain Phasma issue. So, Kevin Smith. I think a lot of us know him from, like Clerks and Jay and Silent Bob and all the writing he's done in the past and whatnot. Because I actually think that they're doing another Jay and Silent Bob movie, if I remember correctly. I don't keep up on all the current movies, but I'm pretty sure that they said that they're coming out with another Jay and Silent Bob movie. And you know what? They're coming out with another Top Gun. Why? Oh, we're just trying to remake everything. Hollywood really must be bored. But I will tell you this. I didn't watch the trailer, but if they do not have Highway to the Danger Zone in there, I will never watch it. I just want Highway to the Danger Zone. Just once. Just get them up in one of them fighters, dog fighting, and just Highway. Just let it go, man. It would make so many people happy, and then all the younger kids watching, it's like, is this cool? It's cool. You'll love it. Tom Cruise with his amazing middle tooth. Anyway, Kevin Smith. So actually, let me pull up the article. I saved a piece of this because I wanted to read it verbatim more so than try and just remember it. So Kevin Smith was invited to the set. And he went around. He was basically there when the last scene was being shot. Let's see where I want to get into. But basically, they were talking about the set at Pinewood. He's asking what it's like, and everybody's telling him to ask JJ. So, and this is where we're going to pick up. So, and so I asked JJ. They kept telling me I should see the set, and he goes, "Don't." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "It's the last shot of the movie." So I was like, well, now I really want to see it. And he goes, "You don't want this spoiled. You want to be in a theater when this happens. Trust me." And then other people on the crew were like, bro. Sorry. I wish I hadn't seen it. I'm glad I did, but it will melt your mind. That's an interesting phrasing. You could take that one of two ways. It's going to melt your mind in euphoria, or it's going to melt your mind and cause you to go insane with rage. I hope that we get a tidy resolution. I hope that we kind of get what we want. Now, I know that life isn't fair, and I know that we can't always get what we want, but I really do think that it's to the benefit of Disney to end this movie in a way in which the fans can feel gratified and leave the theater and say, you know what, Disney, you didn't flub this. We're going to keep our Disney Plus membership. We're going to trust that the TV shows are going to come out are good. We're going to trust in D&D, and we are going to trust in maybe even Rian Johnson when he gets his trilogy off the ground, if he ever does. It's a big ask, but we'll see. So that's an interesting quote. I don't really want to dive too deep into it, but I wouldn't want to see it until I actually saw it edited and finished in theaters. Because there is something to the magic of movie editing that you cannot get when you just blunder into a scene being filmed at the ground level. So I think, Kevin, I would have taken JJ's advice. I would have walked away. I'd have been like, you know what? Okay. I don't have to see the filming, but I would want to see the set maybe, meet some of the actors. But yeah, I'm not a big into spoilers. It actually ruins the movie going experience for me. Depending on the movie. Star Wars, it would probably ruin it. That's why I turn off social media whenever any of that really kind of comes out. So there's that. And you know what? I didn't write it down, but I did want to vaguely mention this because I did take a screenshot of it. So D&D, we know them from Game of Thrones. So here is the article. I'm not going to go into the article. I just snapped a photo of the article when it popped up. The Game of Thrones creators will no longer be appearing at a Comic-Con panel. So listen, I like Game of Thrones. I know some of you probably do as well. I've read some of the books. I haven't read all the books, but I have watched all the show. And I do know that the last season was a bit of a disappointment to certain people. And I think that they're facing a lot of backlash. And the issue is that with them coming into the Star Wars universe and having their own series, having their own trilogy, it really is disconcerting to some people because they didn't like what they did with Game of Thrones. Now, that doesn't mean they can't do brilliant things with Star Wars. And that doesn't even mean that the last season of Game of Thrones wasn't good. It just all depends on how you view things. It's all perception. But I will say this, them not attending some panels is probably the best thing right now. Let people simmer down, buckle down and work. That's all I would say. Buckle down and work and make sure that what you are creating for the Star Wars universe is actually your best effort. And if you do that, the fans will understand, they will see it, and they will praise you for it. But yeah, skip the cons. I don't think they're worth the potential ridicule right now. And again, let everything simmer down. Okie dokie. So let's go ahead and get into the Age of Resistance comic, Captain Phasma. Captain Phasma, man. She had her own book and then really just nerfed her in the movies, didn't they? Okay. So our first couple panels here, by the way, spoilers. I don't know if I said that when we went through Finn, but spoilers. The Unknown Regions, the Iron Planet Demir. So this is in the Unknown Regions. Let's see here. So we have, from a perspective of a First Order trooper, I have no name. I am KM8713. I am a stormtrooper of the First Order. But I will be more. The one who leads is more. She has a name. She is Phasma. And we've got a nice 2-page piece of artwork. So you've got a walker behind her just shooting bolts everywhere. And you've got these giant like rock creatures. So she's got one rock creature, just one hand on its head, keeping him back, and then blasting with her other hand into another rock creature, just yelling for glory for the First Order. It's a really cool panel. Let's see. Halt. Let the walker do its job. And so she actually, she has one of the walkers just start blasting. Let's see here. You are in my command. You are another gun I hold. If your aim isn't true, if you falter, then you are no longer a gun. You are no longer worthy to be in my hand. No longer longer worthy to serve the First Order. And then this trooper that we had originated on in the beginning here, she yells, "Captain, it's charging up the fire." This is one of the enemy ships. And Phasma yells, "Get down." And then the ship opens fire. This fire does take out the walker and some of the troopers, and we see that our friendly trooper, and I got to get her callback number, KM8713. We have, okay, so ears ringing. I can't see. I can't breathe. I can't. And she takes off her helmet, revealing a female stormtrooper. She has short, dark hair. Let's see. DB7197, on your feet. Come on. It's okay. Hold on to me. Just like basic training. We started this together. We'll end it together. I won't leave you. And then Phasma, what are you doing? Leave him. I can't. I can bring him. He won't slow us down. That was an order, KM 8713, not a suggestion. There's a lot to Phasma's character, sort of a ruthlessness that she possesses and a self-preservation at all costs. And these next couple panels really emphasize that more than anything. So I keep forgetting her callback number. KM 8713 yells out, "Captain Phasma, look out!" as one of the rock warriors arms a grenade, a detonator, and throws it. Now Phasma shoots the rock creature. Thermal detonator, yes, I can see that. And then she pulls old DB here. You'll be useful. What? DB 7197. And she basically throws the injured trooper right on the detonator and blows up the trooper. And there we go. So then we get the order to pull out and tells the other trooper, KM 8713, to report to her once they get back. So on the shuttle here, enter, as Phasma is pouring herself a little drinky here. You may remove your helmet, KM 8713. You're a competent soldier, and I acknowledge you quite possibly saved my life today. However, my life would not be in danger if I hadn't had to stop to reprimand you. Why did you help that soldier? Because it's what you believe. It's what I thought you'd taught me. In what way? You said we were your guns. Surely it would be a waste to leave a good gun lying on the ground. DB 7197 was a good soldier. He was an adequate soldier with a rather sizable hole in him, which is true. He could have recovered, fought another day, perhaps, but compassion is weakness. Aiding him slowed you down. It could have cost both of you your lives. Can you carry everyone who falls? Can you fight while you do? No? Then I truly believe what you need to learn is that if you want to succeed, you must first survive. Calculated sacrifices must be made. You have ambition, KM 8713? I want a name. I want to be you. This is inner monologue. Do you often trail off mid-sentence? That's not ideal. No, I don't usually. Then answer. Do you have ambition? Yes, I have ambition. Ambition is not a bad thing as long as it doesn't get in your way and get in the way of your usefulness. So, Phasma's identified this soldier as being somebody who potentially is more than just your basic ground soldier. But she's trying to teach this more her mantra that, yes, I wasn't teaching you about good guns versus bad guns. I'm teaching you that you are all tools and that you cannot be an effective tool if you're constantly, bending down to pick up broken tools. So it's a tough lesson, but it is a lesson nonetheless. What do you want? Phasma continues. I want to follow in your footsteps. I want to serve the First Order. I want to lead. Phasma snaps back on her helmet. Then ignore the ones who fall. You cannot lead while looking back. You cannot see your goal if you're looking over your shoulder. I understand. I thought you would. I see some of myself in you. I would like to see more. I'm promoting you. Tomorrow at dawn, we will strike the natives again. Their base holds strategic importance to the First Order. Ooh, strategic importance. Or we would simply destroy it. We must take it. Cough break. And you will take this. You will take it as an officer. And she hands her the you know what? I don't remember what those are called, but the extra shoulder pad. the extra colored shoulder pad signifying that you're an officer at that point. It has a name, I just can't remember. So next we have Phasma addressing the troops. We have, man, I keep forgetting her designation number, KM8713. I should have written it down. Standing beside her with her new officer's stripe on her shoulder. We will seize control of the Demarian stronghold. No matter what comes out of those doors, we will stand tall. We will show them the courage of the First Order. On your command, KM8713, charge. So they charge this, basically this base, and the gate opens. The order to fire is given, and then several of these little caterpillar tracked ship things, I guess these would be maybe like the equivalency of tanks, just come mowing out. And they're destroying this group of stormtroopers. And we have some inner monologue here for our newly promoted trooper. Can you carry everyone who falls? Can you fight while you do? And she continues to order everyone to keep firing as she sees everyone dying around her. For the glory, for the First Order. This is why I don't read audiobooks. However, she does look behind and sees Phasma walking away. Captain Phasma. And then Phasma says, you looked back. Is something wrong? Nothing. You have drawn out the enemy. Now return to the fighting. But we need you at the front. We need you to lead us. I said return. That sound. And then a large squadron of TIE fighters emerges to destroy the tanks. So basically, the gist of this was to get the gate open and lure the opposing troops out of the gate, and then have the TIE fighters basically just come down and mow them down. So sacrificing all these troopers, a calculated risk. Now our trooper here, no, Phasma, call them off. Your people are out there. They're our... And then she realizes, calculated sacrifices. You knew. You used them to open the stronghold, to pull the enemy into the door. Yes, and I have fought bravely, and I have fought bravely, and survived despite all the odds. Again, you, the other troopers, will hear of your betrayal. I will gain a name. I will kill the traitor coward. And she actually shoots her. Shoots Phasma right in the chest. But Phasma is not affected. Careful, this armor is worth far more than your life. I am no coward. I am not afraid to do what needs doing. Nor am I a fool or a zealot. I do not lead from the front. I lead as all great leaders do. From behind, a disposable shield of patriotic idiots. Phasma takes the blaster and shoots our trooper. Phasma, don't leave me. I can't see my goal if I'm looking over my shoulder, KM8713. I am a survivor, and you are just another nameless, fallen gun. Whew. Wow. The ruthlessness of Phasma is pretty well documented. And the lesson that KM here unfortunately had to learn to the death, she's not your friend. She's not even truly your leader. She is truly out for herself. And one of the problems that most people had with her portrayal in the movies is that she just basically became a subordinate. She became a tool of the Empire, and her biggest ambition at this point was to essentially kill Finn. Second cough break. Which, I mean, is amiable because he did leave the First Order, but in this comic she proclaims, I'm not a zealot. I have a goal. But her goal conceivably was ended in The Last Jedi, unless somehow they write her back. But very interesting. And also interesting that her chest plate absorb the blaster bolt, which, I mean, we know from more reading that they can, but she obviously has some more special armor. And KM unfortunately learned the hardest lesson of all: don't ever trust Phasma. Oh, goodness. Or, even better yet, I don't know, kill first. Who knows? So anyway, yeah, our next comic will be the special. And let's see, we actually have this. So that drops on the 31st. Then the next one's Poe. That drops the 14th of next month. And then General Hux on the 28th. So there is a little bit more spacing here because it was like, Finn and then Phasma, skip a week, special, skip a week or two, skip 2 weeks. So really excited to see the rest of our comics here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our little, our short little go through of this latest one. And hopefully you guys enjoyed our little power half hour, although we've went over a little bit. Half hour, sometimes I can talk for a little bit longer than that, although it is a little hard. So anyway, folks, look forward to our next episodes. We will be jumping into Master and Commander. That's a different story. Master and Apprentice. And, restarting our reread in the New Jedi Order as we get down the line. So again, hopefully you enjoyed the episode. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure to check out the Facebook group or page. Said that twice now. And you can always support us on Patreon if you would like to. Our Patreon is out there. We do have some bonus videos, so you can see our faces if you want to see our beautiful faces. They do say video killed the radio star, but we still do it anyway. But those are just our little dinner with the patron movies videos, where we eat dinner, have a random chat about whatever's on our minds. Not necessarily Star Wars, but just a little extra content for you, if you would like, and that's a great way to support us. And anything from there just goes right back into the show. If you would like to share your Star Wars story on an episode, you can go to Facebook and message us, or you can send it to tcplanpodcast@gmail.com, and we will read it live. Well, as live as a podcast can be. So anyway, folks, thank you very much for stopping by. Have a great rest of your week, and as always, may the Force be with you.